Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Madras Presidency Lawyers Forum, Knowledge Series 25. And today, it is a very important topic regarding the uh, commissions under the Civil Procedure Code. And various topics of interest have been made in the Knowledge Series all along by almost all the members of our Madras Presidency Lawyers Forum. I welcome everyone, the participants, without whom the knowledge series would not have been a success. I welcome all the participants for this 25th knowledge series. I also welcome the speaker of the day, my father, that is Nadana Rajan, advocate, to this webinar series. Over to Manikandan.
May I now request Brother Ramesh Kutty to give the introduction about the speaker.
Good evening all. Today I am very happy to introduce today's webinar speaker, Mr. Nadana Rajan. It is a coincidence that the senior who is in the bar is going to deliver a lecture on Order 26 of Civil Procedure Code on our 25th knowledge sharing session. Mr. Nadana Rajan, who was enrolled in the year 1974, even before I born. After his enrollment, he joined the office of Anandas Gupta and Sagar, a law firm. He was working as a junior till 1978. In 1978, he started his independent practice. He had appeared and conducted various cases before the district courts almost in all the parts of southern India and various tribunals and High Court of Kerala and High Court of Madras, and also he has appeared in his Honorable Supreme Court. Mr. Nadana Rajan, who has also appeared as counsel for the court receiver of High Court Bombay before the High Court of Madras and as well as in City Civil Court. In fact, Mr. Nadana Rajan, popularly known for his way of cross-examining the witness in the trial. He had handled all types of civil cases, appellate cases, writ cases, rent control cases, as well as NCLT cases and DRT cases. In fact, Mr. Nadana Rajan has drafted so many deeds, so many conveyances across all the areas. In fact, I had learned the tricks of the conveyance from Mr. Nadana Rajan. He was the honorary secretary to the Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Of course, we have seen one side of Mr. Nadana Rajan. Mr. Nadana Rajan, he was also holding a license to fly as a pilot. In fact, he has acted in few films during early 70s and late 80s. Mr. Nadana Rajan is a man who always carries a smile on his face. He is known for his humbleness and simplicity. With this, as a junior, I request Mr. Nadana Rajan to deliver the lecture on today's topic.
I profusely thank the forum, first of all, and very particularly thank learned friends, Madam Jayanti Shah, Ramamayappan, and Ravi Meenakshi Sundaram, and also other learned friends and friends who are viewing this episode. It is said that we are having the knowledge. It is not so with humbleness. We are only enriching ourselves on every day. That is why our profession is called as learned profession, whether we are really learned or not. Now, coming to the topic of discussion, the word commission means a lot of things, both commercially and all other ways. But now the topic is only for the commissions appointed by the statutory authorities and in the statutory background. Now, our Indian Constitution gives so many forms, so many commissions, like Finance Commission to review financial position, Public Service Commission, Election Commission, Law Commission, and so on and so forth, under various provisions of, under various articles of Indian Constitution. Now, today's topic is very much converging only to the question of appointment of commissions under the CPC. Now, when you take the commissions, we can't look at Order 26 alone. We have to look at Section 75 of the CPC. Section 75 gives us the list of fields whereunder commissions can be appointed. That deals with the Section 75, if you take it, it deals with to examine subject to such conditions and limitations as may be prescribed. The court may issue a commission to examine any person, B, to make local investigation, 3, to examine or adjust accounts, D, to make a partition, E, to hold a scientific, technical or expert investigation, F, to conduct a sale of property, G, to perform any ministerial act, and other purposes also which are not covered by Section 75. Commission can be appointed because it is the powers conferred on the court, both under Section 75 and Order 26 Rule 9. Order 26 is very much discretionary. You can't demand it as a question of right to get the commission appointed. This has been laid on by the Supreme Court in AR 1971, Supreme Court page number 61. It says that you cannot demand the commissioner, appointment of commissioner as a question of right, but it varies according to circumstances and facts and circumstances of the case and to the discretionary powers of the court. Now, the commission goes by stage. Now, if you look at it, as my learned friend, Mr. Ravi Meenakshi has first put it, it is a question of examination of witnesses. One is for examination number 1. I will take it stage by stage. First is to examine the witnesses. While examining the witnesses, there are some persons who can be examined by commission and certain persons who cannot be examined by issue of commission. That is Section 75 and Order Section 75A and Order 26(1) of CPC. Both these provisions deal with the appointment of commissioner for the purpose of examination of the witnesses. Now, certain persons are exempted under the code from attending the court. Further, you have to look at Section 133 and Section 87B. They give the guidance where certain persons are empowered not to give. It's a list of cases, list of persons given. Those persons cannot be compelled. For example, a governor or a president of India cannot be compelled to come and appear before the court to give evidence. Then such circumstances, but that does not mean that he is above the law, but he can also be examined by appointing an advocate commissioner. So this is a rough example I am giving to you. This apart, under Section 132 of CPC, that also exempts certain persons, namely sickness or infirmity. Suppose there is a person who is laid up and he cannot travel all the way from his residence to the court, or infirmities, some other problems for which he is not able to come all the way to the court. In such circumstances, the court can appoint the advocate commissioner. A person who wants to get himself exempted from being examined in the open court and likes to have the examination done by the appointment of commissioner, or the person who wants to examine that particular person by appointment of advocate commissioner, the concerned person has got to produce a medical certificate issued by the doctor proving or explaining the sickness and infirmity under which he is not in a position to come and appear before the court. For this enlightenment, if you look at section 132 of CPC, that gives a clear provision. So, examination of witnesses, only witnesses can be examined by appointment of commissioner, but certain groups are exempted by their position, and some certain groups are exempted because of their sickness and infirmity. For those persons, commission has got to be appointed for examining them as a witness. Now, if you take Order 26, Rule 9, Order 26, Rule 9, Order 26, Rule 1 itself regarding the examination of witnesses, that provision that goes from Order 26 to Rule 19. Now, if you look at that entire sections, it can be divided into 4 varieties. One is witnesses residing within the local limits of the jurisdiction. There is a witness residing within the local limits of the jurisdiction of the court in which he has got to be examined, before whom he has got to be examined. That person, for that person, under these various different circumstances, commission warrant can be issued. This is under Order 26, Rule 1. Then comes witnesses residing outside the local limits of jurisdiction. Suppose City Civil Court issues a warrant of commission for examining a witness who is not residing within the territorial limits of Chennai jurisdiction, then he can, for that purpose also, commission can be appointed for examining them. Similarly, witnesses residing not within India. Suppose a person is residing at England, he has got to be examined. Then he can't be compelled to come all the way from there. So the court will issue a commission. The advocate commissioner will go and examine the witness there outside the territorial jurisdiction of India, or the commission can be communicated to the embassy there, to which country the witness is residing. That embassy will take proper action for examining the witnesses, and after getting the witness being examined, it will forward the report to the court which appointed the commission. And this is dealt with in the Order 26, Rule 5. Then Order 26, Rule 19. This is the commission which is received from the court outside India. That is from a foreign country. As in the last time, in the earlier occasion, I said, for examining the witnesses outside the India, you can send the commission warrant. Same way, the foreign courts can send a commission warrant to our court for being examined. In such circumstances, same way, the embassy will take action or for examination of those witnesses, or suppose the order is directly communicated to the concerned court. The court will appoint the advocate commissioner who will examine the witness, record the entire evidence, and forward it to the court which appointed him as a witness, as an advocate. That court will then forward it to the foreign court. So this is regarding the examination of witnesses. It is under 4 varieties. Now the rest of the sections under Order 26 up to Rule 19 describes various procedures to be followed for examining the witnesses. Because, for example, Rule 2. For examination of witnesses either on an application or of its own by court. Under Order 6, Rule 2, you can move the court for appointment of the advocate commissioner, and the court can appoint the advocate commissioner for examination of the witness by itself or on the application filed by the concerned party. Then Order 26, Rule 3 says that it is purely a discretion once again. It is not you can't demand it as a question of mandate. Then Order 26, Rule 1, requirement for appointing the commissioner to record evidence. Because any person cannot be appointed as a commissioner for examining the witnesses. An advocate commissioner has got to be appointed as advocate as commissioner, who, if necessary arises, can take the assistance of other experts. This is Order 26, Rule 4 and Rule 4A. Then Rule 5, as I told you earlier, that is talks about witnesses residing outside India. And the power Rule 6 is power of the court receiving the same. As I told you earlier, the court, if the witness is residing outside India, the warrant will be sent to the embassy or to the court, to the concerned court, within whose limits and jurisdiction that particular witness is residing. Then the embassy or the particular court, as the case may be, will take further action, get the evidence recorded, and send it same to the court. Then Order 6, Order 26, Rule 6, Rule 7, Rule 8, say carry over the same subject. Then Order 26, Rule 16A is a very, very important provision. Yes, Order 26, Rule 16A. Now, this gives a restriction for the commissioner, because though he may be functioning under the orders of the court, he cannot take his own discretion either to allow a question or delete a question. Because when a question is put, more or less the advocate commissioner appointed for examining the witness, more or less is only a tape recorder. Now he has to simply record the question and the answer. If the question is objected by the other side, then he has to simply record the question and also say objected by the other side. And the witnesses, still if the witnesses opt to answer the question, he can answer the question and that will also be recorded. So he is working only as a tape recorder. But when the witness is being examined in the open court, the court is at liberty to overrule any question, as we all have come across practically in so many other cases. But a commissioner appointed for the purpose of examination under Order 26, Rule 16A, he has to record the evidence as such and as it is. Now, this is all regarding the examination of witnesses. Now, this gives some more provisions. Practical provisions are being given. That is, for example, when depositions may be read in evidence. Suppose the examination is recorded by the advocate commissioner, then that particular evidence will be taken as a record of evidence in the court. But it is not compulsory on the court to adopt it. It may take it or it may not take it. But if the party desires, whenever the party desires to seek desires to take that particular evidence recorded by the commissioner as part of the court record, then he has got to move the court for the particular purpose. And in such circumstances, the party may also is also empowered to summon the commissioner and examine him as a witness. Then in that circumstances, the advocate commissioner so examined will be treated as a court witness, and the depositions so recorded by the advocate commissioner will be recorded as Exhibit C series, as court document series. So we know all the documents filed by the plaintiff will be taken as Exhibit A series, and all the documents filed by the defendant will be taken as B series. Now, the evidence recorded by the commissioner on being examined as a witness of the court, his evidence will be considered as a court document C1 series. Now, this is one another thing. Now, the procedure for the commissioner how to work out. This is dealt in the Order 26, Rule 10. And that will come, I will come a little later. Or Order 26, Rule 10, Subclass 2. The report of the commissioner, the evidence taken by him, but not the evidence without report, shall be evidence in the suit and shall form part of the record, but the court or with the permission of the court, any of the parties to the suit may examine the commissioner personally in open court, touching any of the matters referred to him or mentioned in his report, or as to his report as to exam as so as to the manner in which he has made the investigation. So this is what the entire examination of witnesses. Now, this very same provision is also dealt with our High Court originals and rules of practice under Order 32 of original side High Court rules of practice. Because when we want to think about the commission being appointed for examination of the witnesses, then we have got to necessarily look into Order 32 of High Court original side rules of practice. Order 32 of OS rules say that gives us procedures how to arrest up to Order 30 through Order 32 Rule 1 to Rule 19 deals with the procedures. How can a commissioner be appointed and what are all his powers and how can he function as an advocate, and all those explanations are given in Order 32 Rule 1 to Rule 19. Then Order 22, Rule 20 to Rule 26 of Order 32 deal with the procedures to be followed by the commissioner for recording the evidence or recording any observation he has made. So this is the overall bird's eye view of the commissioner appointed by the court for examining the witnesses. Now, the difference between the commissioner appointed by CPC and the commissioner appointed by the High Court under Order 32 Order 32 of OS rules, the powers of the commissioner, the functions of the commissioner is little varied. In case of commissioners appointed by the City Civil Court, then he has to issue notice. He has to receive the warrant of commission, issue notice to both the parties, fix an appointment, and then go for the commission execution of the warrant. But under Order 32 rule, Order 32 of original rules of practice, the registrar will issue notice. Advocate commissioner, he has simply to go and record evidence and come. He has no other duty to transact with the parties. The registrar will take care of the entire thing, and the report also he need not give it to the party. He will deposit it with the registrar. Registrar will take on the request of the parties. Registrar will take the copy of that report and give to the parties. But in the case of the commissioners appointed in CPC, he has to get himself involved in all the functions of the execution of the warrant. But commissioner is entitled to refuse to function if his remuneration is not paid. And that is under Order 32 of the original rules. But as far as CPC is concerned, he has to proceed further, submit a report to the court that his remuneration has not been paid, or if any additional remuneration he wants, that also he has got to file a memo. Based on that, the court will pass orders, and that order, where is very, very important in this position, that order is an executable order as a decree. He can, the commissioner, if the parties fail to obey by the orders of the court to pay the remuneration or additional remuneration as the case may be, to the commissioner appointed under Order 26 of CPC, that order is more or less a decree, and the advocate commissioner is at liberty to file execution petition against a person who sought the appointment of advocate commissioner. But as far as the Order 32 of OS rules is concerned, he need not worry about that unless until the parties deposit the entire expenses and other matters. Registrar will not issue the warrant of commission at all. So now, as far as the examination of witnesses is concerned, I think I have made myself clear to you that The functioning is very much restricted within the four corners of both OS rules and also the CPC, provisions of CPC. Now, the commission means it is only an instrumentality helping the court to arrive at a proper decision. This is not for any other purpose that it is being appointed. It is an instrumentality appointed by, sought by the court for arriving at a proper decision in respect of those cases. Now, the instrumentality has got to function within certain powers. And as I read to you earlier, Section 75 and other provisions. Now, let me take you to local investigation. That is under Section 75B. Procedure to be followed. The Section 9, local investigation under Section 75B, and examination of accounts under Section 75C, that is rules 11 and 12 of Order 26, local investigation under Order 26 Rule 9, to make a partition of the procedure Order 26 Rule 13 and 14, read with Section 75D, scientific examination Order 26 Rule 10A, Section 75E, Ministerial Act Order 26 Rule 10B, that is Section 75G. Now, every provision is coupled with the sections available in the code also. So now, whenever you want to get a commissioner appointed, you have to quote both the provisions. That will be for your own safety. Simply by saying Order 26 Rule 9 so and so will not be sufficient unless you mention the section and subsection under which you want the commissioner to be appointed, because this will give the court very more powerful. So now the court, instead of going by itself to the particular spot, it appoints the advocate commissioner or any other commissioner to make investigation and submit a report to the court. By all practical means and by the procedures also, it is intended that the court shall go to the spot and verify it with its own perception and incorporate it in the judgment. Instead of doing that, the court is also empowered to appoint an advocate commissioner. Besides the appointment of advocate commissioner, if the court feels that it is better for the court to go personally and inspect the spot, it can also go and inspect the spot. But in any event, if there is a report before the court by an advocate commissioner, if that report is going to be kept away, then the court should observe the reason for what that report is kept away, and local personal inspection is being taken. Similarly, if an advocate commissioner is appointed for local investigation and his report is not sufficient, the court may appoint another advocate commissioner under the application moved, proper application or petition moved by the proper party. For the reasons recorded by the court has got to erase the first report of the advocate commissioner and engage the very same advocate or engage any other advocate as a second advocate commissioner to go and inspect. Similarly, the court finds that the advocate commissioner appointed in the first instance itself has done the work properly, but here and there certain mistakes have been found, then the court can reissue the commission warrant to the very same advocate commissioner and direct the advocate commissioner to go and inspect the make local investigation and submit the report to the court. Now, this is for the purpose of doing the local investigation. This order, the question of Order 26 Rule 9, that is local investigation, cannot be demanded for the purpose of extracting evidence to the court, because that commission for local investigation should be, besides the particulars are already available. Suppose the particulars are already available. Suppose that there are ample records to prove the possession of the party of a particular property, and that based on that itself the court can decide who is in the actual possession of the property. The court need not appoint any other advocate as advocate commissioner to make any local investigation. To cull out evidence, the parties cannot utilize the appointment of advocate commissioner for the purpose of local investigation. Similarly, the next thing will come to examination of accounts. This is, for example, commercial transaction takes place in between A and B. The case is for commercial case or whatever it may be, or a suit for accounts or whatever it may be. Now, in such circumstances, the court cannot go into the accounts and find and go to the intricacies of the accounts and analyze it and give a finding. That will be very much complicated for the court, and the court will be burdened very heavily. In such circumstances, the court will appoint an auditor or advocate commissioner to be associated, to be supported by an auditor, who jointly, if the advocate commissioner alone is appointed, he will look into the accounts and submit a report. If the advocate commissioner is appointed, have the assistance of any accountant, chartered accountant, or any auditor, or whatever it may be, they both will sit together, go through the accounts, and find out the entire details, what are the lacuna or what are the mistakes there, and then submit a report to the court. This is for the purpose of taking the, appointing the advocate commissioner for the purpose of examining the accounts. Now, to make the partition, now we all know when a suit for partition is filed, a preliminary decree is passed. Once a preliminary decree, what is the preliminary decree? It only says, it only quantifies the portion or the share of the persons to be had in the particular from and out of the property. But by the property, as whether that property can be divided, if the property can be divided by metes and bounds, the court cannot do it. Suppose the parties by themselves they agree, yes, you take this share, I will take this share, you take this share. Then there is no necessity, then the court will proceed with the compromise memo filed by the parties. If the parties are very adamant, then the court will appoint an advocate commissioner who will go into the, after the preliminary decree, the advocate commissioner will go to the spot, inspect the property, and submit a report to the court as a preliminary report. Even there it is a preliminary report, whether the property is capable of division or the property is incapable of division. Suppose the advocate commissioner is able to give an opinion, yes, the property is capable of division, because there are 3 or 4 properties are there. In such circumstances, the division can be done by normally the compromise or any other discussions or anything. In such circumstances, there is no question of saying that property is incapable of division. Suppose there is only one property and there are so many claimants, then how can you divide the property among all the claimants, giving an appropriate share, proportionate share by metes and bounds? In such circumstances, it cannot be divided by normally by partition. That report also has got to be filed with the advocate commissioner before the court. Once the report is filed, either the property is capable of division, then the court will look into the method, ask the parties to reconcile themselves for the purpose of going for the partition, or direct the advocate commission to go for a lot. Same way, when the property is incapable of division, then the court will ask the advocate commission to sell the property in auction, and the persons who are entitled for the share may also compete in the auction, or it can any third party also can, any third party also can take part in that auction, and the auction sale price will be deposited into the court. That auction sale price will be divided as per the shares of the particular parties. That is why the question of to make partition and the procedures has been laid down under Section 75D and Article 26 and Rule 13 and 14 of CPC. Now, let us go to the next provision, Ministerial Act. Now, we all know, I don't want to mention that particular case or anything. Suppose there is an institution. The institution is not being run properly. Otherwise, it is carried on good way. So, the court will appoint an advocate commissioner to go and take charge of the entire administrative capacity of that particular trust or particular institution and administrate the proper institution or the trust and then finalize the entire procedures and then give a report to the court. Suppose there are, for example, there is a trust. In the trust there are bylaws and how to administrate. Suppose the parties are in conflict with the provisions of the bylaws, then fresh bylaws may have got to be framed or fresh procedures have got to be framed for the proper administration of the concerned institution or the trust as the case may be. In such circumstances, the advocate commissioner will be appointed who will go and do the ministerial work of not only the administration of the institution but also the formation of the bylaws as suggested by him and in a profitable manner to the particular institution or the trust. And based on that, he will submit a report to the court. The court will go into the report and then after hearing the objections of both the parties, the court will pass a final order. So there also the ministerial, for doing the Ministerial Act. Ministerial Act in the sense it is the act to administrate the concerned institution or the trust. That is the Ministerial Act. Now regarding the scientific examination as laid down in Order 26 Rule 10A and Section 75E of the CPC. There is scientific examination. Now, we all may be knowing the group rape case took place at Delhi, near bus. Now, the girl has been ravaged, taken for a ride, and finally she has been put to death. Now, the court should have a examination. Court has to find out the reason for the death and also the reason for the other injuries or not, whatever it may be found. In such circumstances, the court will appoint a doctor or a scientific person and who will go do the anatomy and other necessary surgeries or adopt other scientific methods, finalize the cause of death and also finalize the cause of injuries and finalize the entire post-mortem report and then submit to the court. This is for the scientific examination. The scientific examination is not only for the death or rape or any other pattern. Suppose for example, I don't want to mention that, simple. There is a bridge, there is a dam in between two states. Whether the dam is proper condition or not, one state says no, the dam is a very bad condition, it will collapse. But the other state says no, the dam is a very pakka condition, it will not collapse, it will stand some more pressure also. In such circumstances, the court cannot so much come to the conclusion. Then it has got to appoint an engineer group to go into the question of ascertaining the capacity of the dam. That committee will go into the question and find out the capacity of the dam on scientific basis. That is concrete stability of the dam. As what is the concrete required, what has been used, what has been, so many other factors, scientific matters. Let us not go into that very deeply. Now, as a bird idea, I'm just saying, a scientific examination is done for the purpose of ascertaining the stability and the capacity to withstand the pressure. Or suppose the committee gives a report, No. This is a dam which cannot withstand any other one another storm or one other flood. Then the dam has got to be replaced. In such circumstances, the court will seek the assistance of the scientists who will go and investigate and submit a report before the court. That is called scientific investigation. Same way, so many other matters. For example, now recently also during the corona period, we have seen so many doctors have given suggestions that this medicine can be applied, that medicine can be applied, this medicine can be applied. Then the court can appoint a scientist group for doing the scientific investigation and find out what is the cause of the disease and what is the medicine to be applied and what is the relief the affected person will get. All those things based on that, the court will give a suggestion or going ahead with the manufacture of those medicines. So here also scientific investigation is there. So the scientific investigation is there in so many ways, and also all other methods are there. Now, one another, apart from Order 26, there is one another provision inserted in the code, that is Order 26A. This is normally not being looked into, but because that is even in the textbook itself, it has been printed in a very light color. So, but anyway, what I would suggest is, when the court may in any suit issue a commission to such a person as it thinks fit to translate accounts and other documents which are not in the language of the court. Now, there is a statement before the court that is written in a different language. For example, there are some business community which writes the accounts in its own way or in its own manner, age-long, according to its age-long practice. Now, the court cannot look into it. So, and the same way, there are certain documents. For example, for now we have seen so many matters in the scriptures found in the temple. Though that is written in a different language, which is not the language of the court. In such circumstances, the court will appoint an advocate commissioner or the proper commissioner or the person who is well acquainted with the language and also the way of writing the accounts. There are two things. One is language, another is accounts. Now the person who is well acquainted with the language that has been used for in the scripts, then he will go into the, he will be appointed, he will go, take out the impression, read it, translate it into the court language and submit it. Similarly, the accounts which has been written in a age-long practice of that particular community, then the court will appoint an advocate commissioner who is well acquainted with the way of writing of that particular accounts in that particular manner. He will be appointed. He will look into the matter and rewrite the entire accounts in the court language and submit it before the court. Now, in all cases, the commission is being appointed only for the purpose of assisting the court. It is only an instrumentality. Once again, I am saying it. It is only instrumentality appointed by the court to help the court to come to a proper conclusion or to come to a proper decision regarding the reliefs to be granted to the concerned parties. The powers, now we have also seen in the case of power of attorney, we all very well know that the powers one given cannot be delegated to others. Similarly, the powers so given to the advocate commission cannot be delegated to others. Now, regarding that particular aspects and all, I got certain case laws to be referred. Now, AR 2000, Delhi, page number 141, full bench. This full bench judgment is a very, very, very sound judgment. Deals with 4 characters. One is, any judicial power cannot be delegated to a commissioner, example, to allow, disallow question or to decide objections. This is what that I have already told you. that he has not a right authority to decide whether this question has to be recorded or not, or whether this answer has got to be recorded or not. He has to simply record it as a tape recorder, download it and give it to the court. This is the one question. This is the one finding given by the full bench of Delhi High Court. Even after recording the evidence of a witness by commissioner, the court can recall a witness for putting questions under 165 of the Evidence Act. Suppose the court has appointed the advocate commissioner. He has gone, recorded the evidence and has placed the evidence before the court. In spite of that, if the court finds that there is certain things which have got to be clarified, the court is at liberty to call that witness to the court and examine that particular witness regarding that particular spectrum of doubts. Similarly, where the parties cannot normally, the court should refer regarding the evidence of the commissioner, except when there are valid reasons not to do so. If the court feels, no, yes, the commissioner's report cannot be put into or need not be put into, the court has got to give reason, because the commissioner is at all an officer of the court appointed by the court. So the court cannot refuse the report filed by its own officer. So the court, if at all the court finds to refuse the report filed by its own officer, then the court has got to give explanation, give any proper reason why it is not considering it. And the parties, where the parties do not consent, the court may exercise discretion regarding the evidence of the commissioner for valid reasons. Now, all these points have been covered by AR 2000 Delhi, page number 141. This is the full bench judgment. This holds good even now till date throughout India. Now, in case of demarcation of the disputed lands, there is a question of local investigation. In case of demarcation of the disputed land, it is appropriate for the court to direct investigation by appointing a local commissioner, because instead of appointing an advocate commissioner, the court can appoint a local commissioner, commissioner of panchayat, commissioner so and so, statutory bodies. That commissioner can be appointed to go into the question and give a report to the court. This is 2008, 8 SEC, page number 671. Now, once again, regarding the health matters, now I want to refer to Bhopal case victims. Well, you may be remembering that there was a great tragedy, the Bhopal case matter. Now, in such circumstances, the court will appoint a scientific investigation to give a report what is the type of gas released and to what extent it has affected the health of the parties, and whether the death of the parties have occurred only because of that. So all these things are there. Now this is referred under 2007 15 SEC, page number 55. Now this is also very important. Now we can make a note of it. Court would not, suppose there is a specific suit for specific performance. Now pending this suit for specific performance, A, who is the vendor, has sold the property, instead of selling it to property as agreed, sells it to C. Then the court cannot appoint an advocate commission to find out whether who is in the occupation of the property. So this is something like trying to prove the other party's case. It is for the party to place proper evidence before the court, because if anyone is in the occupation of the property legally, then there should be certain documents registered under the Registration Act. You can as well produce those documents, and for that purpose you cannot appoint an advocate commission to go into the spot and verify who is in the actual occupation of the property, and that too in a suit for specific performance. This is referred in 2009 8 MLJ, page number 227. Now once again, I told you earlier, the advocate commission cannot be appointed to collect evidence. Now the latest citation is, power to appoint advocate commissioner for local investigation cannot be exercised by court to assist the party to collect evidence, fraud on title, over property can never be resolved in Advocate Commissioner's report. 2020 1 CTC, page number 182. And I told you that advocate persons are exempted, sickness and infirmity. Suppose the doctor gives a certificate, yes, this person is laid up, he is laid up due to sickness, he cannot be brought before the court. Advocate has got to be, the advocate commissioner has got to be appointed. Then the other party has got to be enlightened to challenge that report. In such circumstances, the court is at liberty to call that particular doctor and examine him regarding the merit of his certificate issued. That is, application for examination of witness or commission on ground of ill health not supported by medical certificate was rejected, and he can also be examined. AR 2009, NOC 1779, Madras. Now, as I told you earlier, second commission cannot be recorded for a roving inquiry. That is 2009, 4 MLJ 201, Madras. 209, 4 MLJ, page number 201, Madras. And when the report of the first commission has not been rejected, fresh commissioner cannot be appointed on the mere request of the party. 2008, 8 MLJ, 1228, Madras. Now, the entire thing is the warrant of commission. Now, the warrant of commission will be issued under what circumstances? That is, has all been given under Order 26 Rule 1 and other provisions as I already read, subject to Section 75, A to E, A to F, A to G, sorry, A to G, and all the, under these circumstances only, Advocate Commission can be appointed to satisfy the requirements. Now, this particular question of appointment of Advocate Commissioner is only to help the Advocate Commissioner, is only to help the court. Now, the Advocate Commissioner is empowered to take all assistance of the local authorities. I recall myself to the year 1978 or 1977 as the case may be. By then I was appointed as an Advocate Commissioner to go and seize a bus from Trivandrum. Now when I went there for seizing the vehicle, there was a great turbulence. A mass gathered and said and challenged it. Let us see how can you take this vehicle, seize the vehicle and take it to Madras. Then I went to the local inspector, superintendent of police, and gave a letter of request enclosing the warrant of commission. Based on that, the superintendent of police allotted one sub-inspector with pistol, revolver, 2 head constables with a rifle, and 4 constables with a rifle. All the entire group police force came. Once the police force came, the entire mass just flew away as a crows before a stone. Once the stone is thrown, the crows all will fly away. Similarly, all have gone away. And the very beautiful thing done by the superintendent of police is direction given to the concerned police officials to accompany me till the boundary of Tamil Nadu, and also issuing a warrant for them to travel back. So such is the wide powers given under the warrant of commission. The warrant of commission has got something like the court itself is going there. So when the court itself is coming there, the court is empowered with all powers, and the powers are also conferred on the commissioner, who can exercise those powers. If a commissioner is fearful and afraid of exercising those powers, then there is no use of appointing such advocate commissioner. If any advocate is getting appointed as advocate commissioner, should have all these, should remember what are all the powers conferred on him by issuing the warrant of commission. If you read the warrant of commission being issued, and then the warrant of commission itself it will be given, you are at liberty to take the assistance of anyone and also summon anyone to come and appear before you for the proper execution of the warrant. This is the one line which is being given in the warrant of commission. First, do not read it or are not aware of it. But persons who are aware of it can do it. Same way, even in Order 32, the powers there they say Order 32 of OS rules, the court shall form a panel of advocates for appointing the advocates. That is Order 32, Rule 1. The court shall be there shall be constituted a panel of advocates from among whom the commission shall be appointed ordinarily. The strength of the panel shall be 250 senior, 250. That is seniors 100 and juniors 150, and may from time to time be varied. Now this is how the procedure is being followed. But the court cannot appoint anyone unless and until you are there already in the panel. So my humble request to every advocate is get yourself empaneled in the panel being maintained by the High Court for the commissioners, because this will be a very great remunerative work job for you. Suppose if you don't do it, the court cannot so to appoint anyone. That is the reason you might all have observed. When the court is appointing the advocate commissioner, the court will ask the assistance of the court officer to look into the list of panel lawyers and then appoint the advocate. That is what High Court has empaneled the advocate commissioner. So you have to get that done. It is for your own benefit. Now many of us don't know it. Similarly, even for receiver, there is a panel of receivers appointed by the High Court. Now you have to get yourself empaneled as a receiver, because these things are all very, very intricacies and secrets, normally which we do not follow or which we do not understand, and for which we are not being guided properly. It's only because of that. So my respectful submission to all my learned friends is Order 26, Section 25 of CPC and Order 32 of Originals and Rules of Practice deal very elaborately on the question of appointment of advocate commissioner for all purposes. Now, as I told you, Order 32 does not leave any advocates of other categories. It also deals with all other categories. Rule 3 of Order 32 to Rule 19 of Order 32. Now those provisions are also deal with the other purposes for which commissioners are being appointed, something like local investigation, scientific, so and so and so on, ministerial acts, so on and so forth. So you are the officer of the court. Once a commissioner is appointed, you are an officer of the court. You have got to act unbiased. You should not get yourself identified with any of the parties, and you have to function properly. This is my humble submission. I think I have taken the correct time, and I am coming to the leaving the floor to my learned friends for their opinion or their questions, as the case may be.
Thank you, sir. We had excellent thing, and many people they have put their queries. Really an eye-opener for all the advocates, I think, because they were thinking advocate commissioner means something, what do you call, inspect the site, taking the measurements and then giving back the details like. But today, the way in which you have explained the volume of powers the advocate commissioner has, and because since they represent the court on behalf of the presiding officer or judge, they are coming, and the amount of power they get, at the same time remuneration part also, I think they will be given sufficient remuneration for their work done. And really I think many of the advocates will vouch and then try to empanel themselves in the court wherever they are. And over to Palani Kumar, we need your impression now. Yes, sir, Mr. Palani Kumar.
Good evening, sir. I heard that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Last time also I had your talk, sir, on limitation and all these things. Adverse possession. Law of adverse possession.
Yeah.
Law of adverse possession. Okay, sir. Sir, very fine. Very fantastic session for us, sir. Really, it's an eye-opening session for junior advocates, particularly because junior advocates they do not have any guiding principles. They didn't know about R21 what says, what are all their yardstick to be followed during the course of commission. In a commission, interestingly, I wanted to share a commission report very shortly. In a commission report, an advocate made a report to the judge that that property is indivisible. It is a house property. So he has suggested that, interestingly, that the house may be demolished and put for public action, and amount can be collected.
He has no authority to do. It is for the court to decide.
No. What is the necessity of demolishing the property? That
It is not for him to say. It is for the court to decide. He can only say whether it is divisible or indivisible. That's all.
These are all things. My request to learned friend would be: you are all in High Court. We are on subordinate judiciary.
No, sir.
The practical issue is what we found during the course of the courts are not when the court is ordering an ex parte order for commission report. Even before hearing both these sides,
yes,
a commission report is being filed. A commissioner is appointed.
Yes. I remember to have read a judgment of His Lordship Chief Justice Virasamy, who, while appointing the Advocate Commissioner ex parte, he says that unless and until the commissioner is appointed in an ex parte way, if you fail to do so, it will amount to locking the stable after the horse is stolen. Because suppose you give you notice, he will make all other arrangements to spoil the entire appearance as though. If a sudden surprise is given by going for a local investigation, the plaintiff's case will be clearly proved or even disproved.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you, sir, for coming and honoring our meeting. Over to Ramesh Kutty.
This is one another session from our beloved senior, Mr. Nadana Rajan. As I introduced the way that you can learn many things, not only be part of their junior in a particular office. You can learn many things, be part of their journey. I have learned many other, especially in legal profession. I learned many things from senior. Today, he has authenticated and demonstrated this experience and his vast knowledge on the subject, the authority on the subject, by delivering a lecture. In fact, I am very grateful to, because I am not a regular practicing lawyer in civil side. An opportunity for me to learn certain aspects on the civil side. Thank you very much.
Kanmani, Magesh sir, after Kanmani, சொல்லுங்க.
சார் வணக்கம்.
வணக்கம், சொல்லுங்க சார்.
சார் ரொம்ப சூப்பரா இருந்தது சார். நம்ம இன்னைக்கு செஷன் லாஸ்ட் செஷன் தான் வந்து மிஸ் பண்ணிட்டேன். உங்க செஷன் அட்டெண்ட் பண்ண முடியல. எக்ஸலென்ட்டா இருந்தது சார். ரொம்ப நல்லா இருந்தது சார் இன்னைக்கு செஷன்.
So nice of you. So nice of you.
Vignesh.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Sir, thank you so much, sir. The session was, as usual, no doubt, it was a wonderful session. And எந்த சந்தேகமும் கிடையாது. ஒவ்வொரு செஷன் உங்க செஷன் அட்டெண்ட் பண்ணும்போது something new, definitely I am learning it. No doubt in that.
I am so much obliged.
இன்னைக்கு இந்த செஷன் தான் சார் இனிஷியல் டேஸ் ஆஃப் பிராக்டிஸ்ல வந்து I was appointed as Advocate Commissioner in city civil courts and in arbitration matters before the High Court.
Yeah.
நிறைய டிஃபரன்ஸ் தெரிய வந்தது சார். பட் ஆனா அந்த அப்பாயிண்ட் ஒரு சில சூட்ல நம்மள அப்பாயிண்ட் பண்றதுல கொஞ்சம் காம்ப்ளிகேட்டடா இருக்க மாதிரி தான் ஒரு ஃபீல் இருக்கும். எக்ஸெப்ட் இந்த பிசிக்கல் ஃபீச்சர்ஸ் டிராஃப்ட் தவிர
இல்ல சார்,
ஆஸ்பெக்ட்ஸ் தான் நம்மள அப்பாயிண்ட் பண்ணுது. ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் சார் சொன்ன மாதிரி வெரிஃபை தி ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி whether it can be separated by beats or bounds அப்படின்ற aspect.
No execution of the commission work is difficult unless you go through the pleadings properly and also request for memo of instructions from either side. Suppose you request the memo of instructions to be given by either side, and with that, if you read the pleadings, you will understand the subject very clearly. They cannot misguide you, or you will not be misguided.
Shivkumar.
Excellent session, sir, today.
Thank you, sir.
Daily we have learned something. Today we have learned lot.
Sir, every day we are learning, sir.
And the topic is also very interesting topic. Since we have been appointed also as advocate commissioner in so many cases, but we could not at that point of time understand these classifications.
Mageshwaran and then Bhaskar Kesavamurthy. After Mageshwaran.
Ravina, Maheshwaran is my junior. Since my mobile had a lower charge, I was into his mobile.
Rajendran.
Rajendran Dragonan. It was a beautiful session. The last ending was the ice stopping Mari blocking the horse's table after the horse is stolen. A very famous quote 25 years back when in the practice.
May I now request Mr. Ramadas, advocate from Bangalore, to give the impression, please.
Judges also act as a commissioner even to the spot and personally. Ilya?
He is not acting as a commissioner.
Yes, but
he is going as a judge.
Judge only. But
yes.
Then the commissioner, the advocate commissioner, can I put any question to the witness party? Like a judge also clarifies some questions. See,
judge has got wide powers. He can put question, he can
correct. The same thing. The advocate commissioner also have a right to put a question.
No.
Why?
Advocate commissioner has to, within the scope of the commission only.
That's all. He has a simple
warrant or suppose you cannot clarify that one. You simply recorded only.
He cannot. He is only a tape recorder as far as the examination.
But he is acting as a judge. When the judge
he is acting as a judge, but his functioning is very much limited.
That is that.
His functioning is very much limited. Though he is acting as a judge, his functioning is very much limited. Because instead of he going there to the spot and examining it, he has been asked to go and examine.
In theory, taking that, he is open his ear, not your mouth.
Yeah. I am only talking about the powers of the commissioner.
Yeah.
When for the first time I was appointed as an advocate commissioner, that particular judge instructed me elaborately that you are the judge sitting in that situation. Take care of it, administrate it properly. That was the guidance given by him. That was an eye-opener for me for all the years.
Very good, very good.
That is that. Only that I wanted to share.
I, on behalf of Madras Presidency Lawyers Forum, thank all the participants here and also thank the speaker here for sharing his wonderful session for the day. Thank you all.